This is News 4 Tucson.
Hello everyone, I'm Nick Van Zandt. Thank you for joining us. We begin tonight with more breaking news in a growing college basketball scandal that has rocked the University of Arizona after an ESPN article claimed that head coach Sean Miller discussed a $100,000 bribe for star player DeAndre Ayton. We've learned that Miller won't be coaching tonight, and a high-profile recruit is walking away from the U of A. News 4 Tucson Sports Director Paul Sakala joins us now with more on what Miller had to say. Paul?
FBI wiretaps show Arizona basketball head coach Sean Miller spoke about a $100,000 payment to allegedly bring DeAndre Ayton to the U of A. And now we're learning from a statement from the university that DeAndre Ayton will play in tonight's game against Oregon, while Sean Miller will not be present, with the U of A saying, quote, that is in the best interest of the university and basketball program that he will not coach tonight's game. Assistant coach Lorenzo Romar will be in his place. Sean Miller released a statement saying, I believe it is in the best interest of our team that I not coach the game tonight. I continue to fully support the university's efforts to fully investigate this matter, and I am confident that I will be vindicated. For now, my thoughts are with our team. They are a great group of young men that will support each other and continue their pursuit of winning a Pac-12 championship. Meanwhile, we now have developing information surrounding Sean Miller's contract with the University of Arizona. And we continue our team coverage with News 4 Tucson's very own Ari Alexander, who joins us live at McHale Center with more. Hey, Ari.
Hey, Paul, we're out here at McHale Center where some of these developments at the University of Arizona will definitely affect what goes on in that building throughout the rest of the year and possibly for years to come. First of all, as you had mentioned, Sean Miller will not be coaching tonight. Lorenzo Romar will be stepping in his place. DeAndre Ayton, the player mentioned in the FBI wiretap per the ESPN report, he will be playing tonight. Alonzo Trier still not playing tonight because of the PED suspension set on by the NCAA, and a 2018 recruit, the top recruit for Arizona's program, Sharif O'Neal, has decommitted from the University of Arizona basketball program in the wake of this news, which brings us to this. This is a copy of Sean Miller's contract, and boy, it's an interesting contract. So I'm going to go through this and try to explain why this is such a fascinating contract. Basically, you can fire coaches. If the University of Arizona were to go that way, there are two different ways to fire a coach, with or without cause. With cause means they did something wrong to break the contract, and you fire them, and they usually would get no money. Without cause means usually you fire them for losing, and they would get some sort of money that is still in the contract. This contract is written in a way where if the University of Arizona were to fire Sean Miller with cause, they would have to pay him more than if they were to fire him without cause. We spoke to a lawyer, Ben Glicksman, based out of Milwaukee. He's from here in Tucson and is written in various sports and entertainment law journals, and he says this way the contract is written is unprecedented.
Either there was an oversight in the drafting, or Sean Miller has excellent agents working for him who were able to negotiate an amazing deal where it would make it hard for the U of A to ever fire him for cause and save money.
Right, so the way that the contract is written, if the University of Arizona were to fire Sean Miller for cause, they would owe him $10.3 million, which is about $4 million more than they gave Rich Rod for firing him without cause. If the University of Arizona would fire Sean Miller without cause, they would owe him $5.15 million. So basically, at this point, they would be able to fire Sean Miller for taking yogurts out of the fridge and save money for firing him for an actual with cause firing. That's what makes this contract one of the more interesting contracts in all of sports. Reporting live at McHale Center, Ari Alexander, News for Tucson.
Hey, thanks a lot, Ari. And now the question is, with respect to Sean Miller, how far will the legal issues go? Let's go ahead and recap how we got to this point. It all began with ESPN breaking the news of the wiretap late last night. The FBI wiretapping saga with Sean Miller centers around a recording of a phone call of Christian Dawkins, a central figure in the FBI's current investigation into college basketball corruption. The calls with Coach Miller were part of more than 3,000 hours of conversations recorded from Dawkins' phone. The U of A has said from the onset it wasn't commenting and had addressed the investigations when they were announced last September.
I'm an alumnus of the U of A.
Tucson area attorney Rick Gonzalez, who also is a proud alum of the U of A and member of the President's Club, was part of the trial team that defended a former U of A football coach Tony Mason in the criminal case brought against him in the 1980s for fraud. So it's not the first time something like this has happened with a U of A coach. But back to Miller's situation.
There are two aspects of this. There's the NCAA aspect, and then there's the criminal aspect. None of it looks good, but right now people are wondering or talking in terms of what the crimes he's committed and what he's going to be charged. On what we have right now, there's no crime. There's no evidence of any crime having been committed. What we do have is a potential serious violation of the NCAA rules and regulation. Now, to the extent that there may be a crime involved here, it would depend on whether or not monies were actually paid. What was the source of this money? How was the money conveyed? How was it characterized? How was it reported? Things of that nature. But we don't have anything of that, any proof of any of that. So the exposure and the concern and the angst that the athletic department has right now is with the NCAA, because pay for play is one of the most egregious violations of the NCAA rules.
Attorney Rick Gonzalez also tells me we can expect a very long time for this case to drag out. I also might add, as we mentioned earlier, U of A commit Sharif O'Neal, the son of NBA great Shaquille O'Neal, has decommitted from the U of A after these reports surface. And the Wildcat woes for the men's basketball team go beyond this breaking news of Sean Miller, since right before the season officially started, Arizona's basketball program has been in the national spotlight with the arrest of assistant coach Book Richardson. And here's a rundown of what the Cats have dealt with this season, apart from the current FBI investigation. Remember, U of A guard Dylan Smith was suspended for the season opener for a violation of team rules. Forward Keanu Pinder and assistant coach Mark Phelps were also suspended for NCAA violations. And Arizona ended up losing 3 games in 3 days in the Bahamas and dropping out of the top 25. And Alonzo Trier was declared ineligible before the game against Oregon State for allegedly testing positive for a banned substance. Now that is where we stand right now with the Arizona basketball team. We'll have a bit more a little bit later in sports, and I'll also talk about Alonzo Trier's eligibility as well. So we'll see you in a bit.
Thank you, Paul. Another